Hello everyone and welcome to the 18th of May 2030 and hopefully the day I get my 6th promotion in, 10 years, which isn't too bad. I would be certainly pretty happy if I do win today. As you can see, we are very much not favourites today. This is not a game I'm expected to win, and if I'm honest, I kind of feel like it wouldn't be the end of the world if we didn't win it. I would quite like to get promoted this year, and I think we could probably hold our own in the higher division. But I do think with a couple of extra additions, we should be able to walk this league next year. I think the squad is in a pretty good shape. There are a couple of players, obviously, who I can improve on. And if I can find a couple of players who can change my fortunes around a little bit, then I think that will be enough. Obviously, Stolworthy has been that player this season. Absolutely unbelievable season from him. 45 goals in 42 games in all competitions. Quite unbelievable. I can't quite believe I managed to get him signed up to another year, so that's terrific for us. We are, however, missing a key player today, and that's Mason Roper. He's obviously been around, one of my longest serving players. But I noticed today his discipline. I think he's just set a record: 18 yellow cards and 2 red cards in the league. That's not good enough. It's really not. I don't think he's been injured this season, and yet he's missed quite a lot of games. Yeah, you can see he hasn't been injured since early part of the second half of last season. So, and yet he's 34 games. He's missed 10 games this season. I think he may have missed one of them due to just being rested, but generally speaking, he's been banned. So obviously I'm going to have to go with Marcus Harrison. Luckily he is in pretty good nick with the reserves, so he should be hopefully raring to go. I think that's probably the only change I want to make. You can see a lot of players are in good form here, but that should point out they are people who've played for the second team and the under-19s as well. So this, I think, is going to be my team for today. I've gone back to Cesar Motto, who's improved second half of the season. He had a bad first half of the season, but he has improved a lot, and hopefully should become a proper player. Molyneux has been an improvement in goal. He's certainly the best goalkeeper I've had so far, but that's not saying much, is it? But Stolworthy and Hornby obviously are our big hopes at the moment. 66 goals between them this season in 40 games essentially, if you average it out. That is quite some going for two strikers. Obviously, Scott Redding's behind them. 19 assists, have played a big part, and of course Fitzpatrick, who's been around for, it feels like forever now, but he's certainly done his job on the wing. 5th season now, and not quite as good as last year, but he's still up there. He's still one of my better players. Reece and Pico, obviously. I've established this partnership. I think this is a partnership that will endure at least for a couple more years yet. I've got both of them tied down for another year. I'm hoping to get both of them tied down for a further year as soon as I possibly can, because I think they're both fantastic players, and Pico in particular has made some real improvements this year, and I think he's going to be a really top player for me. Brian Reece obviously has been around for pretty much since the start of the save. I think he came in the 2nd or 3rd year. It was a bit later than I thought. 2023 he arrived, but still fairly early on in the save, and I think he's my longest serving player now. So, Isiaka is actually still here, just so you know. Just don't forget him. He probably won't play for me again, I don't think, but here he is. Karim Isiaka. He came off the bench in the 2 early days before I got hold of Stolworthy, but then I realised that was it for him. It's a shame because he's had such a great career with us. You can see 120 league goals. He didn't play for Charlton, so really top player he was, and I'm so proud of him. But I think his career is pretty much over. Today, however, is hopefully the day we get into, for the first time, a national league. Obviously, up till this point, all of the leagues we've played in have been regional. Obviously, the Vanarama National League South is half of the country, so it's been the biggest area that we've played in. But if we can win this, then we will finally be playing teams from up north, which will be exciting. Hopefully, Stolworthy and Hornby can fire me to that with the help of Mrs. Reddings and Fitzpatrick today. I'm hoping also that Marcus Harrison can step up to the plate and provide enough of a help to get us over the line in the absence of Mr. Roper. So, I'm submitting the team now, and we will see how this goes. Fingers crossed, we are playing our last game at this level. We've got two Williamses up front. Adam Williams, who's got 17 goals, and Ian Williams, who's got 24. Well, you see, yeah, Darryl Hornby's got 21 in fewer games. 40 in total, 49 in total. I don't know, obviously, how much time he's had off the bench, but significant, I would have thought. So, yeah, that's interesting. But Stolworthy, obviously, 45 goals, which I think is more than both of them put together. Yes, it is. So, hopefully we should have them there. You've got Pinkerton. He's a decent player, isn't he? Yeah, he looks pretty good. Brown hasn't been quite so good. They don't, to me, look like a team that should be doing as well as they did do this season. I mean, yeah, I think I probably missed out this season a little bit. Once I got Stolworthy, and this probably should have been a season where I walked it. And I've shown you in the post anyway, so you'd have seen this, because presumably most of you would have come from there, but I totally messed up the back end of the season. I really did. Some of these defeats were really, really poor. They were against teams who were just nowhere near us in the table. Weymouth in particular, I think Weymouth may have been relegated. Am I remembering that right? No, it was Tunbridge Angels, I think I lost to. Yeah, Tunbridge Angels, who got relegated, and I lost to them. Would it have made a huge amount of difference? Probably not. We were 14 points off. I mean, I feel like I could have perhaps been up there with them. Certainly when I lost to Basingstoke, that felt like it was probably the end of it. But if we'd won that one, I think we may well have won the league. Well, we certainly had a chance, but we had some really poor performances. That one against East Thurrock, we were absolutely dreadful that day. We went 1-0 up, and then ended up being 5-1 down, and it really was awful. I mean, it was strange because with these two strikers up front in Hornby and Stolworthy, even at 5-1, I felt like you never know. When we got that 81 in the 85th minute, there was a part of me just thinking, you never know here. Stranger things have happened, and they kind of have actually, because we have had times when we scored that kind of those kind of goals, but it wasn't to be. And here we are now playing Basingstoke. Lost to them 2-0 at home not long ago. That was probably one of the least impressive performances, where we just didn't really create anything. You can see nobody with an average rating over 7, so it was a really poor performance, and that's certainly something we need to improve on today if we're going to go up. So I'm going to tell the players that they want to keep up where we left off. We've just beaten two teams who have done well in the league this year. This is the best of them, obviously, but I still think there's a team here we should be able to beat. So fingers crossed, lots of green there. Fingers crossed this could be the day where we go up another level. Pico and Reese get a couple of early touches, which is nice. Fitzpatrick picks it up. These driving runs, I love them. He's such a wonderful player to watch. I know that sounds strange when he's mainly a little dot, but just that excitement I get when he runs up the side, it's very, very good. Paul Molyneux there, making a nice save. He certainly does seem to me to be an improvement on anything we've had before. I do find goalkeepers very, very hard to judge. If anyone's got any tips about how to judge goalkeepers, it's one of the things I really struggle with with in FM, because their ratings are so pointless, because they just don't get proper ratings. They can make loads of good saves and they still get rubbishy average ratings. So I don't really know how to judge them, but he just feels to me like he's been an improvement. Let me know what you think. Is there anything I can judge him on in terms of Hornby's injured? That's not ideal. At least it's not Stolworthy. We've got Ollie Lowes. Now, Ollie Lowes is an interesting one, because I brought him in with the thinking that he'd be a decent sort of plan B, because he's a target man. And he's a really good target man. That's all he's good for. He's not going to finish much. He's not particularly quick, but he's strong and he can head the ball. Hopefully, we obviously now need to play a little bit more Route 1. But hopefully, we may be able to find him a little bit. And now I'm still going to distribute to the flanks, even though we've got him on, just because we've got very good wingers, so I'd like to keep them going. Yeah, see what he does. I have to say, I haven't had the chance to try him out. In fact, he hasn't started a single game for us, which is a bit of a shame, obviously, just because the other striker's been doing so well, really. He only came in halfway through the season. He hasn't been with us that long. January he arrived. Although it looks like he had a trial earlier. It's happened quite a lot with me. Obviously, I get a lot of players in on trial. So he came in on trial and then he arrived several months later. Interesting. Let's see what he can do, I guess. Position inspired by the feedback. Maybe I will tell my players to get a bit more creative, because I haven't created anything in 20 minutes. It's a bit of a shame. Looks like they were inspired, at least some of them anyway. Come on, get out. It's the kind of position where Stolworthy might well have sort of got onto something, but unfortunately he was the person who actually intercepted the ball. He can't really get onto the end of his own ball, so that was a shame. We are being a little bit overrun here. I may have to go a little less attacking. This is what I'm just used to with this side. But it is Basingstoke, so maybe we need to be a little bit more careful. See what happens here. If they score, then that's difficult. Right, well, I think for the rest of the half anyway, I'm going to go balanced. It's going to make things very difficult. Very, very difficult. Harrison picks it up in midfield. Reddings, come on Reddings, he's been one of our best players this season. Hopefully he can make something happen soon. Could do with an equaliser before half time, I think, otherwise it makes my half time team talk not ideal. Molyneux there, another good save. See, it's another example of him just seeming like a very good goalkeeper to me. Obviously I can't tell how good that save was really from the 2D engine, but it feels to me like he probably should be on a 7 by now. It's a couple of what looked like good saves, but still on the 6.8, so who knows. But come on, we need to get this goal. I'm thinking I'm actually going to go back to my... Oh, he's in. Stolworthy, he's got the goal, he's offside. But I'm going to go back to attacking because I'd like to be level at half time, and I think we could be there. Just seeing that we can create something, but we need to be a bit more kind of going forward. As you can see, at the moment we're kind of under the cosh. We need to create something and actually have the ball at least in their half, and that's obviously if the ball's not in their half, we can't score. A bit of a problem, really. Stolworthy through, and he's got it. Cesar Motta plays him through, and he gets his 46th goal of the season. Fabulous from Stolworthy. I'm tempted to leave it on attacking and get another goal, but I'm going to push back and be imbalanced for a little while. Just going out at half time 1-1. I'm happy with that, particularly having been 1-0 down. And actually, we're kind of holding our own. They were dominant, but they only had a couple of really good chances there, and we managed to sort of do what I wanted to do and push forward and actually get the goal. So unlucky, things haven't gone quite right. There's more to come from you. This works very, very well most of the time in my experience. This thing here, there was a lot more to come from you. Believe what you've got what it takes seems to work more often than not. Slightly concerned about Harrison's fitness, but Osborne is not very good to say the least. Obviously, he would be my third choice right winger. You can see there he really isn't up to much. He can dribble and he can run, but that's about it. I'm going to leave it for the moment. Hopefully Harrison can see the game out. If I have to bring him on, I will, but I would rather not. Early goal here would be very nice. I have got a formation that I can use to hold the lead, and it's another good save by Molyneux. He really does seem so good. I mean, tell me if I'm wrong. He's got a 7. He's onto a 7 by now, but he feels to me like he should be on an 8. He's made about 3 or 4 really good stops from what it looks like. Is it time to go for it? Is it time? I'm going to go attacking, but I am going to tell them I want them to get creative. I have been inspired by that as well, which is good news. That's a terrible ball by Molyneux. Harrison gets the ball to Motta. Motta nearly gets Stolworthy through again there, but Williams is through and he has equalised. He's got the next goal. We're going to have to chase it. We've got 20 minutes. We've got to get at least 1, preferably 2. I don't really want to leave this to penalties. There is extra time if necessary, and then penalties. Is that Brian Rees? Yeah. Oh, that's risky. Jackson gets it out, but Fitzpatrick's going to be sent off. Just what we need. So we've got a crocked, rubbishy right winger and no left winger now. And we're 2-1 down in the playoff final. I have got another left winger. Both my fullbacks are already booked. I've got to go for it. I'm going to have Batten on for the Jackson. Batten's decent. Unlike my right wingers, my left wingers, I've got a bit of depth. It's not ideal, is it? It's not ideal. But I think needs must. When we're 2-1 down in a playoff final, it's got to happen. Oh, this never happens properly. Why can't I get him in there? No nonsense. Obviously, he's not ideal there. On cover so that you can. Yeah, I think he needs to be there so that he can clear up Motta's mistakes. Kind of wish he could be cover, but further on the right, really. But I can't really use that as an instruction. Just make sure that Pico, a bit more of a stopper, I think, just so that hopefully we can protect Motta a little bit, because he's definitely not a centre back. If we score, it'll be interesting to see how we can rejig this side a bit. I've got one more substitution. I think it kind of doesn't matter now. It looks like we are due a one more year at this level at least. I knew this was going to be a difficult game. We held our own. Did look like we might be able to do it. But in the end it's just proved a little bit too far for us. Look, I can't really blame my players here. We had a couple of suspensions. Obviously going down to 10 men made it harder. And it's just one of those things. We also obviously had the injury to Hornby at the start, which never helps matters. And Lowe hasn't really done what I hoped he would, coming in on as Plan B. Lowe's. It's disappointing. I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of feeling like this was the moment. It's only my second playoff final so far, and it's the first one I've lost. So it really is tough. But if I'm honest, they've been the better team all season. I think we're the better team now. Don't know why we've lost that really. Apart from what I've said already, obviously, but I kind of feel like we should have been, certainly until Tommy Fitzpatrick got sent off, I feel like we should probably have been dominating that game in terms of our team is just better than theirs. But it wasn't to be. It's a shame, it really is. I hope you enjoyed this video. I know there aren't a lot of them. If you'd like to see more, let me know, either in the comments here or on the thread. But we will be in the Vanarama National League South for one more year. It is sad. It is really sad. It does mean that my squad probably will stay very, very similar next season. I was thinking about sort of making quite a significant overhaul for next year if we got promoted. There were quite a lot of these players who I thought were not really good enough. But I think most of what I need now, if we're staying in the same division, is just a bit of depth and a couple of holes I want to fill. So if we look at my first team from this season, like the best team I've had, I think it would be about this. And if you look through this, as I say, Motta's been improving. I think I might be able to keep him in. Maybe I might be able to upgrade, I don't know. Possibly upgrade on him. Molyneux, happy with him. Reese and Pico, brilliant. Ian Jackson's been around for a long time, and I wonder whether it might be time to see if we can upgrade him. But whether I can is another matter. I've tried. I've got about 20,000 left backs at the moment, none of whom are good enough. They're actually not here, but if you look at my under 23s, you'll see a lot of them here. Left back, left back, left back. I know it says centre, but he's left back. There's some in the 19s as well. I've got my trial list at the moment. It might be that I've released more than I remembered, but yeah, as I say, none of them worked out anyway. So even the ones that I've released, they just weren't up to it. And Ian Jackson has, I think, just about maintained his status as my best left back. So he's been around for a long, long time. He played in the previous division as well. He's never really been brilliant. Last season he was better, and I started to think maybe he might become a proper player, but he hasn't really done so this year. If he was going to kick on, it was going to be this year as a 24-year-old. He hasn't. I think I need to replace him probably. So I'm actually going to write this down, because I'm thinking as I go along here, folks. I wasn't really going to do this, but I will. I'll just continue my thoughts until the completion now, just so that you know. But I certainly think I'm going to need a left back. That's probably, I would think, probably the number one priority. Possibly, in fact, the only first team spot that I really want to fill. Peter Thomas, possibly could upgrade him. I'm loving Scott Readings, not sure which. He's been brilliant, and he will continue to be brilliant. But I think Peter Thomas probably is the one other player. Hornby, if we can keep him, I'd be really happy. He's done really well. 21 goals as my second striker. It's terrific. I don't think I'm going to find better than him, but then I said that before I found Stolworthy, and what happened there. If I can find someone as good as Stolworthy, great. obviously, hopefully a slightly different kind of player, but of that quality. Maybe someone who can provide a few more assists. That's one thing Hornby hasn't really done. If I could have, say, either a deep line playmaker or a target man who could knock it down for Stolworthy a little bit, that I think would be, I would think, my ideal situation from here. But Hornby, look, if we end up being Stolworthy and Hornby again next season, I'm definitely happy with that. But obviously, the big one was Des Stolworthy staying on for at least one more season. I wonder if he could now sign another contract. No, not yet. But that hopefully will come. I'm hoping he might be able to persuade him to stay now. Certainly if we're top of the league at Christmas next year, I think he'll sign. That's my feeling, because he wasn't at all interested for the first half of this season when he was there, and then he suddenly did when we started to do well. So if we can be top of the league and looking like we might get automatic promotion next season, then I think he will sign. In terms of the other players, there are a lot of players here who have just not been good enough and will be leaving. Ben Kalu I haven't decided about yet. I quite like him. He's only ever going to be a reserve, I think, but I might keep him. I think I made that decision. I'm going to keep him. He's only ever going to be a backup, but I don't think he's a bad backup either. So if I can get him relatively cheap, just under 6, right, just over 6. That's just about alright. 6,000's not a huge amount for me at the moment. You can see my top players are on nearly 20. So yeah, that's not too bad. I'm happy for him to be getting that much. Yeah, let me know in the comments or on the forum page if you've got any questions, if there's anything you want to see, anything you'd like to know. And hopefully next season will be the year when I do go up. I knew that this season was probably going to be a long shot. Certainly when I knew it was going to be Basingstoke we were playing, I knew that was going to be tough based on the fact that they finished quite a long way above us in the league. 14 points above us. So they were always going to be a tough opponent, even if it looks like man for man we might be as good as them or not, if not better. But next season hopefully we can rectify a few little areas to improve on, and we can take that next step up the league. I'm just wondering who we're going to be playing next season, because obviously we're going to be losing East Thurrock and Basingstoke. We're going to get Cray Wanderers and presumably Woking. They're quite northerly, aren't they, Woking? I don't know quite how this works. If there are 3 northern clubs, then presumably someone from the Northern League might have to come down. Who's the most southerly team here? I wish there was a way to check this. Wickham, yeah, it could well be Wickham. I reckon it could be Wickham. That's pretty southerly. Morecambe's up north. I'm thinking somewhere else. Yeah, I'd be surprised if it wasn't Wickham. If I'm honest, I think Wickham is a very, very likely opponent next season. We'll see. But yeah, you would imagine that 3 of these go into the north, and then we get Cray Wanderers and Wickham. Having said that, Newport County. My Welsh geography is not very good. I don't know if they're the North Wales or South Wales. If they're Cardiff City's rivals, they're probably southern, aren't they? So maybe it'll be Newport. Either way, this is where we are at the moment, and then we will have the thing I wanted to check. No, of course I haven't got the leagues below loaded, so I can't tell you who's going to be coming up from those leagues, but yeah, you know roughly what's going on here anyway. So next season, onwards and upwards. Hopefully we will be getting automatic promotion next year with this squad, and see you guys soon. Bye for now.